Martin Gilbert, how long have you been CEO of Aberdeen Asset Management, and could you tell us what your approach is to emerging markets in particular?
Yeah, I've been, I think, CEO for 23, 24 years, and in the scheme of FTSE 100 CEOs, I think I'm up there in either number 2 or 3. So the average tenure now is sort of 3 to 4 years. So I've been very fortunate, and I've had such a great time doing it. My stroke of luck was probably being born in Malaysia. I knew about Asia. I traveled there extensively, and I knew that when Hugh Young said to me we should open up in Asia, it would be the best strategic move we've ever made as a company, and so it's turned out to be. So we've just been very fortunate that we made that decision 20 years ago to open up in Asia.
And at the moment, what percentage of Aberdeen Asset Management works in emerging markets, approximately?
Probably 20% of our people would work in emerging markets, and possibly about 35% of our assets would be emerging markets, which makes us one of the biggest emerging market players in the world.
But it also shows it's quite literally an emerging part of the company as well.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is, and it's something we believe in, especially the Asian story, the growth there, the work rate there, their ability to adapt is much more than the Western economies.
Okay, that's interesting, because the next question I was wondering about was, what do you look for when you're sizing up a potential business that you're going to take on, or something that seems worth investing in an emerging market or in a developed market?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to the same thing all the time. Management is the key. Are they going to look after your interests as a minority shareholder? Obviously, that becomes more important in emerging markets, whether you can trust the management. So I think it's been that is our fundamental point before we will invest anywhere.
And on I know you have a lot of on-the-ground teams who will go and assess criteria for investment. What particularly do they look for other than management? Is there anything else that they search for?
I think management is the key, and then obviously we look for is it the business we like, and then is the price right? So it all follows on, but if the management isn't correct, we don't look any further at the company.
Okay, fantastic. And now just going a little bit broader, I wondered what your assessment of the current Eurozone crisis is.
Well, I mean, as I say, I tend to ignore a lot of these macroeconomic events because I think they can deflect you from looking at companies. So we look at the companies, and then obviously the macro events affect some of the things, but I'm in the muddle through camp in the Eurozone, but it will take a long time for the countries to recover. But in the meantime, the companies are doing really well.
So you're taking a long-term approach, hang on in there, and things should eventually be fine.
I think this is one of the best times I've seen to invest in European equities. I wouldn't invest in European government bonds, but I would definitely invest in European equities.
Could you expand a little bit on that, please?
Well, I just think the companies are doing very well. And I'd rather be invested in Unilever than, say, the French government. So I'm actually French. I don't want to single out the French government, but any of the Eurozone governments, I'd rather be in a very good, well-run company.
Which also has products that people need every day. And one question for our students here at Imperial College Business School: what kind of people are you looking for to join your team? What kind of qualities do they need to be good at investment management?
I think we're not looking for people with first-class honours degrees. We're looking for people well-rounded 2-1s, whatever it might be. It doesn't really matter what they've done at university. They just have to have a passion for investing. And we train them. I mean, that's part of our philosophy as you'll hear when I speak. It's all about training them ourselves and developing them.
Excellent. Next question: which investors do you admire and why?
Investors, gosh, Hugh Young is my favourite investor. I've worked with him for 25 years. He's the best I've ever worked with. And then if I go further afield, it's the sort of John Templetons of this world who founded Templeton, Galbraith, and Hansberger. So I like these long-term, fundamental, long-only, boring investors.
The steady ones, the ones who are in it for the long haul.
Steady and not in hedge funds.
Fantastic. Final question is, what advice do you have? One key piece of advice for anyone looking to work in investment?
I think get to just use your common sense. Look at the company. You can walk into Next or Marks and Spencer's and make a decision on which one you think's best. Or I mean, I was in New York last year, and the Apple store is full and the Nokia store is empty. You know, so it doesn't take a genius to work out that Apple's going to do better than Nokia. So it's really just use your common sense, and if you're interested in an area, you can really make money at it.